Hey guys, Angry Monkey here,
With Jackson Ferrell from Hot Pile of Garbage.
and we're playing some more 999, or 8, 7.5, 9.
Or Jackson and Monkey Voice Acting Theater.
So
Here we go.
we walked into this freezer. We put some oil on a lock or whatever. We opened up this door to this freezer, and so as Junpei walked into the room, a blast of cold air washed over him. Almost instinctively, he folded his arms tight across his chest, doing what he could do to conserve body heat.
Brr, it's cold in here. What is this place? Some kind of...
Are you blind, man? It's a freezer, duh.
Because you can see that. You can see how cold it is.
Well, unless you're Snake.
What? Why?
Snake's blind.
Oh, I thought you meant Solid Snake.
Oh.
I'm sorry. Your jokes are lost on me. Your brilliance has been thwarted by my idiocy.
Santa's teeth had already begun to chatter. Hardly surprising, the freezer was far too cold for someone dressed as he was. Lotus, however, was in an even worse situation.
Oh, no way! That's way too cold for me! I'll freeze solid in seconds! Sorry, but I'm afraid I'll have to pass on this one. I'm going to leave the rest to you.
And with that, she ran out of the room.
Thank goodness. I mean, Lotus, don't get me wrong. I love you, but your voice is killing me.
As Lotus left, June came in. Whoa, it's really cold in here. White puffs of steam hovered in front of their faces as they talked. June had already started to shiver.
Hey, you don't need to be in here. You had a fever just a little bit ago. You should stay outside. We got this.
No, I'm fine. The fever's gone now.
But
Junpei had scarcely opened his mouth when the thunderous sound of metal upon metal rang out from behind them. In unison, they spun around to find that the door that they'd only recently come through was closed.
Dun, dun.
Darn, this would have been a better place to hold off on the episode, but...
Oh, yeah. Well, at least this way we don't keep everyone in suspense.
That's true. Desperately, he grabbed hold of the doorknob, but that's the fun part, is when you have people in suspense. Like, I gotta see what happens!
Oh.
But that's okay.
Viewers, I apologize for not tantalizing you. Okay. Doorknob. Ow!
Ow! It was cold, beyond cold. Merely touching it was painful. The doorknob had been frozen solid. They quickly deduced that the pipe next to the door had ruptured. Water released by the rupture had hit the door and frozen instantly. Santa shoved Junpei aside and pounded against the door. Hey, Lotus! You're out there, right? You didn't abandon us, so open the door.
I'm thankful that it's just a mechanical failure and not deliberate sabotage from, say, Lotus, but...
She wasted no time in responding.
What do you want? What's going on?
So much for no more Lotus.
Yeah.
The door won't open. Try opening it from that side. Please, come on, man.
I'm fine. If you say so. Hold on.
Soon they could hear Lotus on the other side of the door. Then the grunting ceased, and they could hear light panting as if from exertion.
It's no use.
Oh, it's like Sonic. It's no use.
It won't budge. You've got more people in there. You figure it out.
Gosh darn, man. Santa was shaking like a newborn deer. June was hugging herself, shivering violently. Even Junpei, with the heaviest clothes of any of them, was clearly feeling the cold. Every breath they took, they could feel the cold working in its way deeper and deeper into their bodies.
Anyway, let's find a way out. If we don't get moving, we're gonna be permanent residents.
You answer better than none. I'm sure we'll figure something out. Yeah, you're right. Let's just take a good look around this room, okay?
Right.
They pushed in close to one another and began to search.
Okay. Looking for things time. Open up. Give me all you got. Dry ice. We're gonna MacGyver our way out of this thing.
Junpei picked up the dry ice with his sleeves so as to avoid burning himself. So where does he store it?
Good question.
Yeah.
Oh, whoops, I skipped a sample.
Yeah.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Yeah, it is.
I wonder how warm it has to get for it to turn back into gas again.
Heck if I know. How's that gonna help us anyway? Found some food, didn't you?
Yeah, man, all that frozen food here. Oh well, I figure we might as well be able to use it to get out of here. They were about to move on when June spoke up. Okay.
Carbon dioxide sublimation point is negative 109 degrees. Any warmer than that, it'll turn into gas. Any lower, and it becomes a solid.
Junpei looked at her dumbfounded.
How do you know that?
Because I'm smart, duh. Tee. Despite my looks, I'm the queen of random knowledge.
Clean. Looks bad to mess up when you're showing off. Oh, you're so cold your mouth's going numb?
Yep. That's right.
You're just doing that on purpose, aren't you?
June giggled and did her best to hide her guilt. At least she was still feeling good enough to joke around, Junpei told himself.
Sanity meter climbing.
You mean declining?
I think that the jokes are a good sign, you know? As long as we're able to crack jokes.
But we're stuck in a freezer.
Oh no.
Yeah, we're frozen. Like we're going to like die if we don't get out of here. And she's joking.
The situation is getting to her head.
Yes. Come on, guys. Don't you think that's kind of weird? I wonder why it doesn't turn into a liquid first. Oh, great. Santa's joining in on all this insanity. Santa was now shivering at an astounding rate, but his curiosity seemed unaffected. Junpei, however, was not in a mood to discuss science.
Eyes on the prize.
His patience was wearing thin.
How the crud would I know? And how the crud is that going to help us get out of here? Crud! We don't have time for this crap.
Actually...
Junpei stopped mid-sentence, surprised by June's interjection.
Under enough pressure, carbon dioxide will turn into a liquid.
This isn't really a good time for a chat about science.
But I was wondering the same thing.
Wondering what?
Wondering why carbon dioxide doesn't turn into a liquid unless it's under pressure.
Right? It just seems weird. Water is a liquid between 32 degrees and 212 degrees. So why isn't that the case for carbon dioxide? H2O and CO2 are pretty similar.
No, they're not. They're totally different substances. Look, guys, if we keep this up, we're just gonna freeze to death. You good with that? You want to die talking about sublimation and gases? Because I sure as... What was the word I used before? Crud don't.
He fixed both of them with a glare.
Now let's get back to work. Assuming you don't want to end up like a pair of ice sculptures.
Junpei turned around, the problem dealt with.
Okay.
Or so he thought.
Oh no.
There's a kind of ice that doesn't turn into liquid when it goes above 32 degrees.
Huh?
I heard about it. Its melting point is 96 degrees.
Its melting point is 96 degrees? You mean there's water that freezes at 96 degrees?
Yeah. Well, you can also look at it as ice that won't melt until it's 96 degrees.
Water that freezes at 96 degrees? Ice that won't melt until it's 96 degrees? Okay, I'll listen now.
Now that was difficult to ignore. Junpei had to ask.
So what's this ice with a melting point of 96 degrees called?
I heard it's called Ice-9.
Ice-9? Another 9, man.
Originally, Ice-9 was a made-up substance invented by science fiction author.
Yeah, Kurt Vonnegut.
Oh.
But recently, scientists have discovered that such a substance actually exists.
Wait, hold up. So, is this thing called Ice-9, or is it water?
Like I said, if the ice is over 96 degrees, it will be liquid. If it's under that, it'll solidify. So you can think of it as a polymorph of H2O. Here, think of it like diamonds and graphite. They're both made of carbon, right? But depending on the structure of the crystallization, the hardness and structure are completely different.
So you're saying normal water and this Ice-9 are like that?
Yep.
She wasn't finished. Okay.
Have you heard the story about the crystallization of glycerin? For 150 years after the discovery of glycerin, people cooled it, warmed it, and did all sorts of things to it. But whatever they did, it never crystallized. However, one day in 1920...
One day in 1920.
Man.
Wow.
Sorry, dude.
Is your voice okay?
Yeah, it's just...
Okay.
I don't know, just... whenever I do a lot of talking, it's just like gas. Some glycerin that was en route to England by ship was discovered to have crystallized during the trip. Naturally, scientists worldwide wanted to research this new crystallized form of glycerin and began asking for samples of the seed. A seed is, of course, a sample of the original crystallized substance. With a seed crystal, further crystallization of glycerin would be simple matter. However, something very strange happened. Molecules. Not only did the glycerin encouraged by seed crystals begin to crystallize, nearby samples did as well. It didn't end there. After that day, all glycerin in the world began to crystallize naturally when cooled to less than 64 degrees.
Huh.
Before that day, no matter how glycerin was cooled, it refused to crystallize. But once the crystallization had begun...
It was almost like, how do I put it?
You know, I feel like when these episodes actually air on your channel, and I go back and watch them, I'm going to have to Google like a bunch of this stuff and see what's real and what they just made up.
When you do that, you got to comment, because I'm so curious about the Egyptian princess thing, and and some other like stuff that's in there, like if it's really legit or not, like the authors like that wrote the books, the prediction. Yeah. Like I wonder if that was really true or if that was just part of the story. So you got to do a bunch of research on this.
Yeah. But you, privileged viewers, you are able to do that right now.
Yeah.
You don't have to wait. Look how fortunate you are to be living in the future.
It
was almost like all the glycerin in the world was communicating in some way that we can't sense.
Junpei.
Well, I'm not impressed, but something tells me that I should humor her, just to be nice.
Was honestly impressed. In fact, it was a pretty interesting story.
Wow, that's pretty interesting. But, what does that have to do with Ice-9?
To his surprise, it was Santa and not June who answered. What she's saying is that, like, it's a lot like Ice-9. What happened, I mean?
A lot like, that would be bad. If water everywhere started freezing at 96 degrees, man.
It'd be the end of the world, man! Junpei felt that Santa might not be treating the idea of the end of the world with proper concern. Oh, yeah, it'll be the end of the world. At any rate, we're not going to have to worry about the end of the world unless we can get out of here. And pretty quick.
True.
He was right. Junpei shivered. Alright guys, I think that's enough of that. So, I didn't think we'd get quite this far off topic. I mean, I know I'm kind of at fault here, but we can't be screwing around anymore. Seriously, man. I might go by the name Santa right now, but I didn't grow up in Iceland, man. I freaking hate the cold. So let's get cracking, alright? With some crack. We gotta find a way out of here, man. Santa stomped off, clearly doing his best to pretend the cold wasn't affecting him. Selfish, isn't he, though, Junpei thought to himself. Still, Santa was right, and it was high time they got back to their search. The story of Ice-9 had him interested, but there'd be time to think about that once they'd gotten out of the freezer. Junpei looked at June, nodded, and resumed his search of the room.
What a long-winded way to say, let's move on.
Yeah.
This game sure loves its letters.
Do we want to, before we move on, should we call this an episode? Or?
Yeah.
Okay. Ooh. Gotta give my breath a couple minutes. All that jumping between Santa and June. That was... I kind of understand your conversation with Lotus, how that was kind of wearing you out a little bit. So, anyway, we're going to call this an episode, and in the next episode, we're going to figure out how to get out of this freezer. So, tune in for that, and we'll catch you guys then. Goodbye.
Ominous music, ominous music, haunting, chilling, terrifying, life or death situation, so deadly, so ominous, oh no, the music.